In our final installment of our spotlight on the Department of Government Efficiency, Bret speaks one-on-one with Elon Musk about what issues keep him up at night, the scrutiny he is facing, his involvement in politics outside of DOGE, and whether or not he thinks his work with the department can have lasting effects.
Here's Keith on X says, executive actions can be undone with the next president. What is the team doing to ensure the government waste and overregulation is permanently reduced? I assume you're working with Congress. That's part of it, but...
Yeah, we certainly would like a lot of what we're doing to be permanently enshrined in law. But a lot of the changes we're making are very basic things that I think are likely to remain in place, such as the improvements to the Treasury financial system to have a better understanding of how and why payments are made. So the fact that payments now must have a payment code that corresponds to a congressional appropriation and must have an explanation for the payment and someone to call to ask about the payment. So we made those changes to the system. They weren't there before. I think those changes will remain. So all these changes that we're doing, like the one I just mentioned, will enable the government to actually pass an audit. It's at such a basic level that you have to stand back and recalibrate just how bad things can be, because you think it can't possibly be that bad, and it is. It'll basically blow your mind. There's no way that any commercial company could possibly survive if it operated like the federal government.
You're still involved in politics. You were big in the election, obviously in Pennsylvania. Now, I guess you're in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Why plug in?
Well, the Democrats are trying to redraw the districts in Wisconsin. And we're trying to stop the Democrats from gerrymandering Wisconsin to remove 2 House seats. That's what this whole Supreme Court justice case is about. So I really want to emphasize to people out there, if you're in Wisconsin, go out and vote. You can do early voting for the Supreme Court. If you have friends and family in Wisconsin, please urge them to vote for Brad Schimmel. If we don't, we could lose control of the House, and all of the government reforms could be shut down.
Finally, what's the biggest thing for you that keeps you up at night?
Well, there's a lot of things, I suppose, that I worry about, but and some of these things will seem esoteric to people. The birth rate is very low in almost every country, and it's something, unless that changes, civilization will disappear. America had the lowest birth rate, I believe, ever. That was last year. Places like Korea, the birth rate is 1/3 replacement rate. So that means in 3 generations, Korea will be 3 or 4% of its current size. And nothing seems to be turning that around. Humanity is dying. And people, it's just not something we evolved to react to. And I worry generally about the strength of America. America is the central column that holds up all of Western civilization. So if you've got the temple of Western civilization, America is the central column. If that column fails, it's all over. You can't run off to New Zealand or some other place. It's over. So either we strengthen that column and make sure America is strong and will be strong for a long time, or that roof's coming down.
I think we got into detail today about what you all are doing and maybe demystified some of that. For the people who look at you in your business sense about SpaceX or Starlink, can you tell them specifically there's not a conflict of interest in how you're doing it, what you're doing, and the contracts that you're getting with the government?
Everything I do is under extreme scrutiny.
Every day?
Yeah. So there's not an action I can take that doesn't get scrutiny 6 ways to Sunday. Every action that the DOGE team does is public. We put it on the website. It's the most amount of transparency there's been about any government thing ever. So it would be even if I wanted to, I couldn't get away with it. In fact, it's actually disadvantageous for me to be in the government, not advantageous.
Yeah.
If I wasn't in the government, I could lobby, and I could push for things that are advantageous to my companies, and probably receive them. My companies are suffering because I'm in the government. You just pointed that out a moment ago.
Right.
Do you think it helps sales if dealerships are being firebombed? Of course not. And Tesla customers are being intimidated all over the country and all over Europe. Mm-hmm. Does that help Tesla? I mean, you had Tim Waltz, who's a huge jerk, running around on stage with the Tesla stock price where the stock price had gone in half, and he was overjoyed. What an evil thing to do! What a creep! What a jerk! Like who derives joy from that? And it was pointed out to him that actually, Minnesota State Pension Fund is a major investor in Tesla. But he didn't care. He was so overjoyed by Tesla stock going in half. Does that sound like a good person to you? I don't think so.
When I was growing up, we didn't have internet, then we didn't have cell phones, then we got them, then we got the Apple phone and all the technology that I've just seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
The fact that we are where we are, if you're talking to an audience, where are we in 5 years? Where are we in 10 years?
I do think there's the potential for a great future, as long as America remains the land of freedom and opportunity. So freedom means that the government does not infringe upon your personal liberties, that you can do what you want as long as it doesn't harm another person. Land of opportunity means that you succeed on the basis of your merits, on how hard you work and how good you are at your job. Those fundamental principles are what will ensure a great future. And that's what President Trump is committed to doing. It's what the DOGE team is committed to doing. And if we succeed, I think we'll have a wonderful future.
Well, Elon, we really appreciate the time, and I think we dispelled some rumors and got into some very specifics that people wanted to hear. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.